Is that a head and shoulders on Luna?
It can be. It definitely can be. Like, I think if we hold these levels, it can be, definitely.
But a head and shoulders is not a good thing. I mean, if it breaks that neckline, then it can go down again, right?
Yeah, exactly. It can, definitely. So it can either be a bad thing, but yeah, it all depends on Bitcoin, obviously.
And should I be worried about that volume over there on a downward candle?
Yeah, so that was a bit of sell-off, and I think now it's time to actually zoom way further out and see, how's volume looking on daily, how's it looking on weekly.
All right, so this is because of the DeFi debacles that are going on, and that's because of what's happening with Abracadabra, Magic, Internet Money, Spell, Time, and this whole drama that's unfolding right in front of our eyes. And it's a good stress test on the DeFi tokens, but wow. We should get the Netflix producers to start making a program about what's going on here in DeFi. Otherwise, the market is pretty boring. I mean, it's like watching
very boring, brother. Yeah, it sucks.
So let's talk about the DeFi coins. There's a lot to talk about on the DeFi coins. And then let's look at the possible double bottom on Bitcoin. I mean, it did look like it was making a double bottom, didn't it?
Yeah. Shorter time frame, but it's a good indication. We need that 42, brother. We've been speaking about it the whole week. We need it.
It was supposed to happen this week with the options closeout, but then
we need it.
Then we got Victoria Guided. That's what happened. We got Victoria Guided.
Let's do it, brother.
Let's do it.
Click. Have you heard the news? What? With his finger on the pulse, it's like Sheldon knew. Click. When the sniper shoots, we got Sheldon on the chart, so we never lose. Enter the sniper, sharpshooter advisor. Enter the sniper, he marks the charts right. Enter the sniper, he's calling the cycles. So enter the sniper, click. Time to be dedicated, sniper mode is activated. Explosions in the market are in target, and Sheldon demonstrates. Mirror on the wall, Master Sheldon tell us all. We got Sheldon on the chart, so we never lose. Enter the sniper, sharpshooter advisor. Enter the sniper, he marks the charts right. Enter the sniper, he's calling the cycles. Enter the sniper, click. Enter the sniper. Enter the sniper. Sheldino.
That's my favorite part of the song.
That's my favorite part of the song too. Welcome back, guys. I'm Cryptoman Ran, and that is Sheldino Tentino. Sheldino, you're not
in the dungeon.
You're not in the studio. Why are you back in the dungeon?
Because bear markets. I think it's time for me to hibernate, to keep practicing, work on the new strategies, and then come back when we see the bulls back.
You should have stayed in Miami. It was so much fun there. I don't know. It's been boring. It's been boring since we got back. Well, kind of boring, but also maybe not boring with all these wars that are going on in DeFi land. I mean, first, poor Daniel Sesta'a got attacked when they started to attack the guaranteed buyback mechanisms on Time. And then was whole drama that's unfolding with him hiring an ex-convict to run the treasury. I mean, that wasn't the smartest move in the world. Now people selling or unwinding or getting out of their Magic Internet Money and all the positions in the Degenbox. And that's now filtering into Luna because that Degenbox is filled with UST, and that UST goes onto Anchor Protocol and they borrow against it. And it's causing huge drama because now people are worried that Luna's going to lose its peg, that Terra's going to lose its peg. And if Terra loses its peg, well, then Luna continues to fall. So there's a whole drama panning out now in DeFi land. And I think it's actually very good. I think it's actually very, very good because I think that algorithmic stablecoins need to be tested. They need to be battle tested. They need to be able to survive anything. And the only way that they're going to survive anything, and rest assured, Terra will definitely survive. Luna will definitely survive. Magic Internet Money, I think, will also survive. I think that you can see that people are actually buying Magic Internet Money again. So every time that that loses its peg too far, people actually start buying it up because it's a collateralized stablecoin. So we should talk about that today. We should talk about what's going on in DeFi land. We should talk about Bitcoin. We should talk about dominance. Stevie Hyde says, Steve Hito says, so sad. MIM was amazing. MIM is amazing. MIM is amazing. I think MIM is amazing. All right, so welcome back, guys. Subscribe to our channel, like this content. I know that it is a bearish market. I know that it's boring out there, but we're still here every single day bringing you crypto love and crypto wisdom. Today, there's not going to be a banter show because I'm working on crypto school, getting crypto school ready to go.
Brother.
Yeah, very exciting. So we're getting crypto school ready to go. Sheldon, let's look at the charts, bro.
Let's do it, brother. So just remind me, I don't have a monitor here. Can you see my chart?
I can see the double bottom.
Cool. Yeah. So definitely a shorter time frame, view at Bitcoin right now, because, we've been looking at it. We know the 42K is the next really key level that we want to get to. It's a level we want to be breaking through to. And that's definitely a level we want to be tested. And remember, if I jump to the higher time frames, we've sort of been chatting about it this week, that Bitcoin's sitting in this channel right now. It is running sideways. The only thing is, we do want to start seeing a bit of progress from the bulls. We do want to get to that 40, 41K region. And what we've learned from this market, guys, is it happens when, as soon as the interest is lost, as soon as people stop, looking, it gets very boring like this. We must never count out that this is when the bigger moves happen. We've seen it many times. It happened a lot, especially during the May crash as well. So with Bitcoin now, I'm basically zooming in, having a look at when are we going to start getting this breakthrough back to the 40K region. And what's our key levels that we need to hold to know, are we going to go back to 30,000 first, or to 33,000 first? Or is it the 42K level first from there? So what I am looking at, we are getting some nice volume buys up over here. The reason why I did put in the double bottom is to also just for you guys to be aware of this pattern and how well that can actually play out. And what we want to see is that we finally did start to smash a higher high, shorter time frame. We've then come to test. We're making a higher low at this point. And we are turning resistance into support. So we do want to see, we don't really want to see Bitcoin drop much lower than, 35 or 30, 35,500 in that sort of level. Otherwise, we can go test the 33 again. I do know there is tons of buying power at these lows though. Between 30K and 33K, the orders are big. There's a lot of buy walls there at this point. So that's just the question is, are we going to get it over and done with? Are we going to get the wick back down to the bottom, or are we going to make our way to the 42K area? And that's obviously the key area, because if we don't break through 42 on the next push up, it is possible for a lower low. And remember, all of that indicates for us is just on a way higher time frame. Is Bitcoin, let me just jump on the weekly here, is it still running in an upwards trend? And if we don't, there's the low, there's the higher low at this point. So, we want to hold 29K. Reason being is we hold that, we can be looking at a higher high at the next point. If we don't hold that, it means that we need to be very cautious on the next leg up, because we know that we mustn't get panicked out on these sort of red markets. But, will this be a later stage head and shoulders? And is this leg very important for us to be aware of, that we don't hold that 29K level, when we start getting up to these regions? Because, even though we've had a strong leg down, just a move to the normal 618, a normal healthy correction takes us to 55K. And you know what I mean? That will be, if we stay above 33, we know there's a possible higher high. We can still break all-time high for Bitcoin this year. So keeping strong, trail your stop losses up. But if we do make a lower low, next leg up, we're going to start strategizing, freeing up a bit of dollars, start staking the dollars, start earning yield, and keep learning in the game, and just making sure we're still moving to the smart money in the market. So for now, short time frame over the weekend, I would like to see Bitcoin move to the 40K region. I think if we hold the 35,500 between today, because we're just getting RSI's reset, I think we can start to make our way there at this point. How are you feeling about the market, brother? Can't hear you.
I'm saying it is what it is. It is what it is. I've seen many of these sideways markets, and they are boring, and they, you lose interest, etc. But then, before you know it, you get 2 or 3 up days, and then all of a sudden everything's good again, and everyone's happy again. So it's. I think the important thing is that you are in the market. I think the important thing is that you're in the market and that you are snapping up bargains. And I think, to be honest, I think there's lots of bargains to be snapped up. So I think all this FUD that's happening around Time and Spell and even Luna and
So Luna is looking weak, brother. Obviously this news is starting to, we're not used to seeing Luna with such big corrections. Well, especially strong legs down. So looking at this, we're on a very critical support right now on Luna. and we they don't hold these levels. It's possible we're seeing a $25 to a $35 Luna.
Yeah, I must say, I think that if you think about the capital that is behind Luna in terms of Terraform Labs, Doquan, Arrington Capital, Galaxy, all the big investors, Hashed, there's a lot of people who want Luna to succeed. And the reason why Luna is taking a little bit of strain here is because of what's happening at MIM. MIM has this thing called the Degenbox. And the Degenbox effectively takes leverage position. So you put money into Anchor, you borrow against the money into Anchor, you take that money that you borrowed from Anchor, and then you reinvest it into Anchor. And then you take the money again, and you just keep repeating and repeating and repeating. Now, every time you borrow, you can only borrow slightly less. So if you put in 100, you can only borrow a certain amount against it, but it's not 100, so to speak. And so the problem is that now people are running away from MIM. Some people are running away from MIM, and that means that they're unbundling their positions. And that means that people are worried that there's not going to be as much demand for UST. But I mean, if you zoom out, like that's what the chart looks like. The chart doesn't lie. Like that's the chart of UST. Like there's still $11 billion of UST. Also, a lot of very smart people have written a lot of good articles about why that's not going to happen. So I think this actually might be a very, very, very good buying opportunity for Luna. I think if you've got like even bigger balls and you're willing to take some more risk, then I don't know. I mean, maybe Spell is a good buy. To be honest, I took a very small position in Spell because I thought, you know what, there's a lot of panic right now. I don't think anything's wrong with Spell. I think that let's zoom out. What's going on here? Daniel Sesta'a is an unbelievable, incredible builder that is building on amazing projects on Avalanche and on Phantom and on many other protocols. Unbelievable. He proved himself with Spell and Abracadabra money and Magic Internet money. He proved himself a lot. He really proved himself a lot. He made one mistake. What's the mistake? The mistake is that he worked with a guy who was an ex-convict, and he gave him one of the multi-sigs to the wallet. Now, he didn't announce it when he found out. Now, I don't know if he found out before he started working with the guy or during the time when he started working with the guy. But when he found out, he didn't let the community know. And so the community is like very upset with him that he didn't let the community know. Yesterday, he had a change of heart. He put it to a vote with the community because it's a DAO. I mean, if you think about Wonderland is a DAO. And the DAO, as far as I know, the last that I checked, the vote was 83% or so. I'm just seeing if I've got the vote here for us. Was 83% to actually remove him. So it was 83% to actually remove the. I mean, look, this co-founder or this guy is bad news. I mean, he was involved in Quadriga, which was a Canadian exchange where the founder disappeared with $170 million. He was involved in an identity theft ring before that. He spent time in prison. Like this is not a, he's a serial, as Andre Cronje called it, he said he's a serial fraudster. In fact, if you go to our website, if you go to the Crypto Banter website, we'll quickly go through it, but the whole story is actually detailed here. And it was a very, very good story. Written by a journalist, very, very, very good guy, a good story. But it actually details the whole story with all the tweets from everyone. So that's the founder. His name is AKA Michael Patron. His name is not even Michael Patron. His name is Amar Danani. And this is the guy that is, was in charge of the treasury. I don't know if he's still in charge of the treasury. This was broken, of course, by Zach XBT. And that's what happened. And then this is yesterday's story. The new story is coming up today with what's been happening. But the allegations were true. And Andre Cronje says, look, I'm still support Danny, still planning on working with him, but there are lines. History of consistent fraud, theft, and malicious behavior isn't a mistake. That's the intent. Having Sifu managed funds, especially user funds, can be negligent. And then he said, Danny knew for a month, and in that month, Sifu was handling funds. I don't know, PsyOps, I don't know what's going on, but I want to get off this Willy Wonka's magic carpet ride. And then, everybody just jumped ship. Now, my opinion is, I was never convinced around the DAO model. I'm not convinced around the Wonderland DAO model. Why? Because I don't know if a DAO can make better investment decisions than very smart individuals. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. So I'm not a big fan of buying into Time and Wonderland, but I don't see any issue with Magic Internet Money and Spell. Like, I think they're great protocols. I think that Magic Internet Money, Spell, great protocol, had great TVL. It works, and you're seeing now, even now that it's getting stress tested, the peg of MIM is, look, it has dropped below peg, but it's holding like pretty strong. Like if you look at it, let's quickly look at it. Look, it has dropped below peg, but every time it does drop below peg, the arbitrages get back in here, and it's at 98. So it's a 2% drop below peg, which for the nature of what's going on, I think is not bad. It's not bad. It's not bad. So yeah, so I think my take out here is the oceans will calm. When the oceans calm, then I think Luna will probably recover. And I think that I even think that Spell will recover, which is why I took a position. I took a position in Spell at 5. Which we can look at it.
Well, think about it. Even having all of this bad news and stuff, at times, if these things recover, it can be the best buying opportunities as well.
Exactly.
So,
exactly.
Yeah.
You got to be able to ride the storm, and you got to know that it can go pear-shaped. Now, I took a position at around this level. I mean, give or take at this level. Why did I take that position? Because I don't think there's anything wrong with Spell. I think Spell's great. I think as a protocol, it's great. It's proven itself. I think Daniel Sesta'a is a good guy and a great operator. I think he made a mistake. Not the end of the world. We all make mistakes. Nothing happened. No funds have been stolen, as far as we know. I look at where this protocol's come from. Just look at the price chart. And then I look at the last couple of days, what's happened here in the last couple of days since this all broke. And then I think to myself, hold on a second. This is a good level for me to be entering. I'm entering into major fear. And for me, into major fear, I'm willing to take small bets into major fear if I think that there's going to be a recovery. So I think there's going to be a recovery. I think that the same thing is happening right now on 2 other protocols. So I think if you look at Luna, I think I showed you. I think that's fear.
Well, you're basically catching it back at the levels where it started before the actual rally happened on them. So you're catching them right in the beginning before they were even recognized.
Exactly. And I don't think that the money behind them will let them fall. I think that there's a lot of backstop. And I think that, by the way, I think the protocols themselves won't let it stop. And then the other one that people are worried about is Anchor Protocol. So let's quickly look at Anchor Protocol, because people are very worried that Anchor Protocol can't sustain its 20% yield that it promises people. So let me just quickly connect to Anchor Protocol so we can quickly look at the numbers. Let me quickly look at it. I just want to connect my wallet without everybody knowing exactly who I am and what underwear I'm wearing today. Yeah, okay, so here we go. So this is the concern. So the Anchor Protocol guarantees you a 20% yield on your UST. It guarantees you 19.88% yield on the UST that you deposit in here. And if you look at the amount of UST that is deposited in Anchor Protocol, there's $5.7 billion deposited in Anchor Protocol, which means that half of all the Luna, half of all the UST is now deposited here on Anchor Protocol. So if you think about it, there's $11 billion of UST in circulation. Half of that UST is now sitting in Anchor Protocol. And Anchor Protocol promises people that deposit their UST 19.88% return. Okay, so that's what it promises. So it has these obligations. How does it fund these obligations? Well, essentially, when people want to borrow, then you have to deposit collateral. So you take your collateral and you deposit BETH, which is ETH effectively, which is wrapped, and Luna, which is wrapped. They take those BETH and Luna and they earn yield on this BETH and Luna, and they pay you. They pay you based on that. Now, because the amount that you have to deposit is always much bigger than what you can borrow. So if you deposit 100, you can only borrow, say, 50 against 100. So they take the interest on the 100, which they're earning on B Luna and ETH, and they use that to pay the people that deposit on the UST, right? That's the formula here. Now, they have this thing called the yield reserve. Here's the yield reserve, which is 35. Now it's $35 million. It used to be much higher. I think the yield reserve at one point was about $150 million. Now, when this finishes, or when this gets down, then they cannot continue to pay 19.88% because they just don't have the reserves. Because what this here is, it's basically an insurance fund for times where they're not earning as much that they can cover the loan, the interest promise. When they can't, then they use the yield reserve to pay for it. And in times where they're earning too much, they put the yield reserve back. Okay, so it's basically that's almost like the insurance fund, so to speak. So people are concerned about two things. People are concerned that there's going to be a run on Anchor Protocol, because a lot of this is actually coming from the Degenbox at MIM. Okay? And people are funding the Degenbox at MIM because they're saying, look, we don't trust MIM anymore. I'll try and let me quickly see if I can find you a quick explanation because I see a lot of people are enjoying that. So let's see if I can find you something around Degenbox just to show you how the Degenbox works without actually exposing every single one of my wallets and everything else. You know how it is. Come on, you know how it is.
I know. I get you, bro.
Hold on a second. Let's see if I can find the Degenbox for you guys here. Okay, I'm not going to put it up here, but essentially what happens is this Degenbox is you can borrow, you deposit UST. They borrow against the UST. They borrow this thing called AUST. Then they take the AUST and then they redeposit it back into UST. And they do this loop, and they do this loop, and they do this loop, because every time you're borrowing less, if you deposit 1,000, say 1,000 UST, you can borrow, say 50% against it. Mm-hmm. So now you got another, so you deposit 1,000, you borrow 500, okay? Now you take the 500, you deposit it, you borrow 250. You take the 250, you deposit it, you borrow 125. You take the 125, you deposit it. You borrow. They call it the Degenbox, okay? So that's what it is. It's basically you just keep borrowing and borrowing and borrowing and borrowing and borrowing, and you put that money. Does it eventually
run out, or does it eventually?
Yeah, eventually it just becomes too small to keep borrowing. It's like 50. It just becomes like it's not worth it. And so that is what they were doing, and so I think the number is like now probably $500 million, or maybe just under $1 billion of UST actually comes out of this Degenbox. Now the Degenbox, people are now withdrawing out of the Degenbox. So what are they going to do with the UST? Because you've now created this loop of UST buying and buying more UST, right? Because
you've basically created debt, right?
Collateralized it. Yeah, so out of $1,000 of UST, you borrow against it, you got another 500. So now you got $1,500.
Then you borrow again.
And then you borrow again, you got $1,750.
Yeah.
And then you got $1,825, and then it just keeps going and going. So you created this leverage position against a US dollar-backed asset, and you're earning 20% on this leverage position all the time. And people are worried that if this run continues on Magic Internet Money and Abracadabra, that it will hurt Anchor Protocol. And the problem is that if it hurts Anchor Protocol, as we showed, Anchor Protocol holds half of all the Luna. So if Anchor Protocol can't continue this. Now, to be honest, this problem of Anchor Protocol being a little bit unsustainable has been raised many times in the past. And today we are publishing an article, or a series of articles, on cryptobanter.com about how sustainable this is and whether there is anything to worry about. Probably worth noting a few things. One is never, ever search on Google double bottom because okay, so that's the first thing I wanted to say. Never ever search the term double bottom on Google, ever. Don't do
I can
it.
just imagine.
It was so bad that I had to log off the stream. Carl, the producer, jumped. Okay, so yeah. Yeah, don't do it. I want to just see if I can find this tweet from Doquan. We're talking about it. In a nutshell, in fact, there's maybe even a better. I don't know how many of you follow Root to Fi. If you don't follow Root to Fi, I think he's fantastic. I think he's one of the best DeFi degens out there. He tweeted. He said, "Let's quickly find him." He says, "So the first thing he tweeted here, he said." There's some serious exits on Degenbox and Abracadabra right now. 182 million available. Now, this is a box which was closed. Like you could never get in. Every time I wanted to get in, there was no space. Has been 0 MIM available to borrow for months, but now it looks like everyone wants out of the UST MIM strategy. And so remember, UST MIM is basically a stablecoin and another stablecoin. So everyone's running out of UST MIM. And then he said, he tweeted something else, and I really trust his analysis. He says, a lot of you are starting to get a little worried about the sustainability of Anchor Protocol after seeing the yield reserve drop to 35 million. Thread coming today, tomorrow. He then says, not trying to scare you too much. I still have my funds there. I think they will find a solution that works long term, but 300 million Anchor Protocol V2, B2 Sol B Atom is not enough in my opinion. Yes, I think Anchor will make this. Yes, I think the protocol is 100% safe. This is about the sustainability of 19.5% APY. I think everyone knows how much I like the Terra ecosystem. If not, check my threads. So this is it.
Okay, well, he's basically saying it's not going to fall, right? But this can possibly create super good buying opportunities. I hold
the view that. So I think there's something that just broke now. I'm trying to see if it did just break here. Give me 1 second. I'm on a live feed with all our researchers, and we're monitoring the story. Let's quickly go through it, and then I'll tell you what I think about this. Okay, so there's a lot of this is from Kanev, Karlya. He's one of the founders of Jump Capital. Jump Capital is one of the. I'm sure I must follow him. I can't believe I don't follow him. My goodness. He's unbelievable. There's lots of confusion and panic on the MIM and UST today, hoping the state can provide a clear, unemotional take on the position. As a recap, Degenbox allows you to lever up your anchor yields by borrowing MIM against a UST, selling the MIM for UST, borrowing more MIM against the new UST repeat. Basically exactly what I said to you guys. Now, if MIM peg falls under stress, there becomes an attractive opportunity for Degenbox participants to cover their MIM shorts at a discount because it falls under peg. So for like now it's at 98, you can pay off your debt because you borrowed against it. You can pay off your debt with every dollar you're buying 98 cents, so you're getting a discount basically. They end up putting pressure on MIM during this process, putting it back up to the peg and making it less attractive so the next Degenbox participant would not want to unwind his position. Let's talk about the MIM peg. Over-collateralized stablecoin. Remember, MIM is an over-collateralized stablecoin. What do you mean by an over-collateralized stablecoin? You have to deposit 100 to borrow 50. So it's an over-collateralized.
Okay.
Over-collateralized stablecoin use a CDP model that don't have any incentives for market participants outside of borrowers to purchase a stablecoin at discount. In the case of MIM, borrowers looking to close 1 to 2% ARBs would be giving up their 100% plus APY yield to unwind their position. So we could see a continued MIM depegging for a little bit until it becomes attractive enough. Certain game theoretic elements to this. Unless it turns out that Sifu ran away with the money. Seems tough. It seems tough to imagine mercenary capital continuing to take a hit for ideological concerns around the project. Demand for levered anchor yield hasn't gone away, and quality of collateral in MIM cauldrons hasn't changed. It's difficult to imagine a sustained exodus to UST given the circumstances. In the event it occurs, there is potential for UST to be sold burnt to provide some downward pressure on Luna. Worth noting that the UST supply is over 11 billion and the UST in Abracadabra is 900 million. A 450 million contraction in the economy, assuming 50% conservative, should be manageable over a couple of days. So this is all panic. For full disclosure, I personally I've never participated in Abracadabra and have no current exposure to MIM. We do hold positions in Luna and UST. This is not meant to be a judgment. So, nutshell, let's finish it like this. I think that both protocols are going to survive. I think Luna and Anchor are going to continue to thrive. I think that MIM actually does survive this, I think. And that's why I took a position in Spell. And to be honest, I might actually even go into the Degenbox, because why not just get ridiculous returns on your money? I mean, I'm a Degen, I should go into Degenbox.
How does that go like against you? Like, let's say, because obviously you're borrowing and you're holding collateral, but how can it go against you? Like, you know what I mean? Where it can hurt you, or it can, you know what I mean? Because I get it, but like, how can you just keep going? Like, there must be some sort of, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, how does it go against you? Well, for one, if one of the stable coins, remember, these are both non-USD backed stablecoin. MIM is over collateralized, and UST is plain algorithm. So MIM is actually backed by something. It's backed by other crypto. UST is backed by algorithm. So if any of the stable coins lose their pegs, then remember you're borrowing. So if one loses the peg, you could get liquidated, right?
Okay.
Because if you borrow against your Bitcoin, you deposit a Bitcoin, you can borrow 50% against your Bitcoin. Bitcoin goes down X%, you get liquidated, right?
Okay.
You lost your Bitcoin, you lose your Bitcoin. So if one of the coins loses their peg, then the whole thing could get liquidated. That's the risk.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's the risk. Lose peg, liquidate position. So it can go against you. That's why it's called the Degenbox. You've got to be a Degen to do it.
Yeah.
I think the returns are stupid. The returns are like.
At the end of the day, people are always going to jump to that run. Like, for me personally, to do it myself, it's not. But at the end of the day, put it behind the actual concept, and it's always going to make money. People just love that stuff. They love that lot of video. They love that sort of thing. So, the protocols hold. Looking at the actual coin values now, possibly really good longer term entries coming up, and to be buying these sort of news on these things, how else do you get specials like this? There has to be something at times, to bring it down. And we shouldn't always look at it as a bad thing, but it's I think these things will always make money. People get addicted to this stuff very much.
Yeah, you need to. I mean, if you're doing it with a very small part of your portfolio, and the risk that you're taking, and you're happy with the return, then that's a great thing to do. And if it's not, then don't do it. Again, I took a very, very, very small position in Spell. I did it because I like trading disasters, especially I think that people over-respond.
But remember, like you were saying, you bought the coin Spell, right? So Spell is what you just explained now. But end of the day, I think the coin will always make money and always have a strong growth because of the system they have.
Listen,
people love it. We can't deny it. When people learn that Degenbox, they're gonna do it or not. Like, if people, they're gonna do it, not thinking about risk, not thinking about that. So I'm thinking Spell as a coin. The concept makes a lot of good sense. And if it's at great bargains where it is now, for investment wise, I may not be looking at the Degenbox, but I may be looking at the actual protocol. The Spell.
But you may be looking at other protocols. Yeah. So you may be looking at other protocols. That's the problem. You may be looking at other protocols. The reason why you may be looking at other protocols is because if you've lost faith in Daniel Sesta'a as a person, then and he is the leader of, if you want to call it, the Frog Nation, then you may rather just say, look, I'm going to go to other protocols instead of going to Abracadabra.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's the other thing. Okay, then I did promise the community. Here we go. I did promise the community today that I would do giveaways on BitDAO, and that is because someone was very kind in our community and said, "Look, you promised us that you're going to give away 50,000 BitDAO. You didn't give away the 50,000 BitDAO, and I didn't. And so I said I'd start smashing the 50,000 BitDAO. So what I said is, anybody that has a funded account on Bybit, either from your masterclasses or from any of our shows, is eligible. So I've got a list of accounts. It's just account numbers. So just to keep it clean, it's just account numbers. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll through the list, because people always accuse us of picking winners. So if you think that I'm a genius and I can pick a winner by doing that, there we go. Okay, so the first winner is account number 770-7249, and they win 1,000 BitDAO tokens. Next winner is account number 810-7025. You're a winner. You win yourself 1,000 BitDAO tokens. And the last winner, or let's do two more winners for today. 797-5942. You win yourself 1,000 BitDAO tokens. Right now, let's quickly look at what the price of BitDAO is. And all you need to do is have a funded account with the Crypto Banter referral link. It's in the description below. So that's worth $1,500. So that's worth $1,500 if you are one of those people. Amazing. So that's for people who want to have a good weekend. Remember also, guys, lots of stories breaking on the website. The website, because there's no show today.
And that website is phenomenal. Like, I really don't think there's a source out there with the amount of content that's on there right now. And I know your vision. I know how much you're even building more on what we're doing right now. It's just, I feel this is something that everyone should really be a part of. It's phenomenal, the info on here. And it's for free. Like, I can't believe it.
Sign in with Twitter. So it's simple as that. You sign in with Twitter. It's a Twitter type experience. It works like Twitter. Whoever you are on Twitter is the same person that you are on our website. Great stories. AVAX, there's a story that came out about AVAX. Oh, your chart of the day just dropped.
Yeah, AVAX, yeah.
Let's have a look.
Yeah. And this is just a nice view for so we had two chart of the days. This is the different one. So go have a look at this one, and then the AVAX was the first one that was dropped, I think, an hour and a half ago.
Okay, so there's two. All right, so there's two charts of the day already dropped by Sheldino. We have, here's the other one. Here's another chart. So two charts already on the website from Sheldon today. Every day there's charts dropping all the time.
Yeah, we got the AVAX chart looking good. We got the decrease in volume, which is fantastic. And this is where you learn, guys. Go use this. These write-ups are great, and it's going to give you a much bigger understanding of what we're looking at.
Amazing. All righty, have a good weekend, my brother. We'll see you back.
You as well, brother. I'll be back on Sunday night, so I'll be back for Monday.
Much love, Banter fam. See you guys on Monday.
Much love, brother.
Sheldino.
Yo. Boring market.
I loved your Instagram video yesterday.
Thank you, bro.
It's good. Very good video.